Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Magic and Miracles, where you learn how to be the magician of your life. My name is Anna, and I'm your most favorite manifestation coach on the internet. Reason why? Because there's no such coaching as my coaching anywhere on the internet. I coach mainly with audio exchange as well as telephone sessions. And I recommend 2 to 3 months minimum in coaching with me for me to be able to fully go through my coaching program. Some people stay longer than that, and that's fine with me. But 2 to 3 months is absolutely mandatory. The two most popular packages on my website, the link is directly below, is the Audio Unlimited package and also the telephone package deluxe. Now let me explain. For those of you who are new, please also subscribe. You will learn a lot of things on this channel. The Audio Unlimited Exchange package goes like this. You email me with the confirmation of your order on my website. You sign the coaching agreement, which is attached to every single package. And then we schedule a phone call, which lasts about an hour. We basically go over everything you would like to work on in my coaching. And then after that, you still have 4 phone sessions in my coaching left. Sometimes I add a couple more depending on the case, depending on the client. But mainly with this package, you interact with me with audios. So we go through everything starting with your childhood. So how it works is that the first audio you will record will be about your childhood, okay? How you grew up, where did you grow up, was there a mom and dad, was there a guardian, how, was the relationship with your siblings. Everything is really interesting to me because I really would like to, first of all, get to know you, but also understand your belief system. This is my main objective in my coaching. And so we start with childhood. Every audio has to be 20-minute max. I don't expect you to fit your entire life in the 20 minutes. So this is why, be as thorough as you can. And so we go back and forth this way. After I receive your audio, I write down my notes. I am very thorough in my coaching. I listen to each audio more than once. I take down my notes extensively. I pride myself in this, and this is why I don't really do Zoom sessions anymore, because I find this method way more effective. I cannot be taking notes on a video call, and a lot of coaches don't take any notes at all. And so for me, this is the more thorough process where I get to listen to the recording more than once and then stop it, pause it, write down my notes, etc. So once I'm done with this, it takes me sometimes up to 2 hours, okay, truth be told, because everybody's different, way of speaking, different accents. I reply with my own audio, which contains the analysis of what you had just told me, and also questions, more questions for you to answer, and more instructions to tell me more. So we go through your entire history, basically, adolescence, college years, all the way up until today, your SPs, drama panorama, everything you got going on, all right? This I recommend for somebody who's new in my coaching, because it gives us the time to really kind of like map out your history, as I said. Now, the other package of the phone sessions is similar but different. We are on the phone 2 to 3 times per week, schedule permitting. We usually have a time slot for you, and the session is 1 hour each. I record that session. I do take some notes while I'm on the phone with you, but they're nowhere near the notes that I take after, right? So I listen to that recording. It's an hour long, and this is why the price of the package is higher. And I take down my notes very meticulously, and then we reconvene at the next session with my feedback. Now, this is purely if you'd like to be on the phone or if you'd like to do the audio exchange. I find it really beneficial when you record yourself. You get to think about what you want to say. Sometimes, you will, I recommend having a pad in my coaching, take your notes and then record. And so this is a really thorough process for you as well, obviously, for both of us, because you really start digging up memories that you may not have been thinking about up until now. So this is why, for me, honestly, it depends on the personality of a person, but I would, really recommend if you're starting out the audio package, and then maybe you can upgrade it to the phone sessions. That has happened in my coaching as well, but it's personality based. You will also receive, obviously, the recording of the phone session each and every single time for posterity. Obviously, the benefit is that you're interacting with me live over the phone, and I will give you my feedback live. But again, sometimes when I have my notes, there will be some ideas that will come to me in the analysis that may not come over the phone. But it just depends, again, on the personality that you have. So if you'd like to ask me any questions before booking, my email is below, the website is below, and also my phone number is below. All right. This is meticulous because I need to really understand who you are in order to help you. We don't progress to the manifesting part in my coaching until I really have a clear understanding where the problem lies. So this is why we go this way. And believe me, you will never need another coach again if you do this right and you show up and do the work. All right. The subject of today is ask once and bring them back. So as most of you know, a lot of you have SP situations, problems. Most of my clients do. This is how they come to me, especially from YouTube. Outside YouTube, it's slightly a different story. But on YouTube, there's a plethora of videos discussing this topic. And I'd like to discuss today how it really isn't that difficult. And I always try to drive that point. And so maybe today I will achieve it on another kind of level. So most of you come again with belief systems that we work on in my coaching extensively, and that's the entirety of the problem. Okay. Now, additionally, there may have been some drama panorama between you and this SP that has happened. And this is why you have maybe some animosity towards them, maybe some unresolved anger, resentment, all this kind of jazz. That could also delay things. Now, so beliefs plus some kind of emotion that stops the manifestation to come forward instantaneously. If you work through this in my coaching, it will become amazing to you what is actually possible. It's not easy. My coaching is like a boot camp, truth be told, because you're faced with yourself. You're manifesting all of this, and you need to understand yourself before you start manifesting. And so if you uncover that you still got resentment, anger towards this person, you really need to work through it. And that's no picnic. But like I like to really point out in a lot of my audios, you really need to clean out the garbage out of your subconscious mind, like resentment and beliefs that are blocking you, before you start inviting guests for champagne and this, that, and the other. Okay, into the living room. It's a metaphor, obviously, of your subconscious mind. So once you clear that, it becomes a real party, real amazing manifestation fest. All you need to do is really ask one time. This is why I don't really believe in repeating affirmations or some kind of like tricks of the trade that demand you to do it like more than one time, right? So you can, when you're working on your new beliefs, yes, you're going to have to kind of like repeat them to yourself, but you don't do it like robotically. You do it, with pleasure. You do it sitting down and maybe burning some incense with peaceful music, maybe, and this, that, and the other. But once you have that work done and completed, and even scripting, the same thing when you're scripting something. But once you know who you are, right? Once you know, we've established like how to basically change your blueprint of beliefs. It really does take one time to ask. Now, here's the situation that a lot of people are kind of like faced with. Even in my coaching, we work through beliefs and this and that and the other, the scripting, la la la. And they're like, fabulous, Anna, I got it. And so then we're experimenting with manifestation. And basically the most popular situation, of course, is, SP and money. And so what happens a lot of the times, is that they ask for something, they script it, and they say, okay, this is what I want. They start seeing the signs that this is about to come true. They start seeing certain movements. They start seeing like their SP even reaching out to them. But suddenly it's like something happens and it's like, wait a minute. This movement made me understand that I still have some releasing to do, that I'm still triggered by some past memory or past something that happened between us, or that maybe I find myself insecure. It's just about to happen, and it's like it stops because something else comes up. Now, I want to explain that this is not fucking things up. All right, like a while ago, I watched some of the videos on this piece, maybe like a year ago or something, a year and a half ago. And I was kind of like, to be honest, like terrified for the people who are watching these fucking videos, because some of the people really are kind of like negatively positioned and really make you feel even worse than you've ever felt before. And they say, no, you fucked it up. This is what not to do. This is the 10 things to never do. And you gotta start all over. And this is the end of the world. And I'm like, wow, you're a coach? This is horrible. Here's the thing. There's no fucking this up. If something came up, you reacted to 3D. You basically got derailed by your emotions and something came up. This is a good thing. Hello, this is a good thing. Why? Because you clearly aren't done releasing the past. So how else are you going to release it if you're not triggered? When you're no longer triggered, that's the point where you want to, get yourself to. But if you're still triggered, this is a good fucking thing. That means there's still some garbage in the living room, all right? And furthermore, but that situation that you've constructed, the signs that you saw, the scripting that you did, and the wishing that you did, didn't go anywhere. That reality is still right there with you. And once you're done clearing the garbage, you can easily just float right back to that reality and, in quotation marks, start all over. But it's not like you're starting from scratch. You already know what it feels like. You already know what it looks like. You already are somewhat familiar with the situation. Can I tell you something? This is so important, by the way, because this situation needs to happen. Meaning the clearing out of the emotions and this and that. Because can you imagine if you got back with your SP and you're still carrying that fucking shit show with you? Meaning the emotions that no longer serve you. It would be disastrous. And you would go back to literally square one from that point on. But if you're still coming up with emotions and you're dealing through with them, that's good. Even if you have, even if the SP reaches out to you and you react a certain way that isn't what you kind of like really wanted, how you would like to react, that's still good as long as you're working through it, and as long as you guys are still not back together, you can work through it and then get back together, because that will be automatic. You're going to get them back in your life automatically when you're ready to do so. Okay, this is why I titled this Ask Once and Bring Them Back. Because once you're ready to bring them back, they're fucking back. All right? They're just back. They have no choice in this. They have no free will. You're the only one who's commanding them to stay away for now. Because I've got some shit to deal with here. I know I created you this way. I've got resentment. I've got this, that, and the other, whatever the drama panorama is. Insecurities, la la la. I'm still dealing with this. This is why you're not here. And I want you to understand that nobody's fucking punishing you. This is just the process of manifestation, okay? So it's ridiculous when some people say, well, it doesn't work. Okay, well, if you say it doesn't work, then it's not going to work, quite frankly. And so don't quit 20 feet from gold. Don't be like, oh my God, everything went wrong. And no, it didn't. What are you talking about? Don't quit 20 feet from gold. And even if you do, start again. Nothing is lost in my holy mountain. That's from the Bible. Nothing is ever lost. It's always right there. You can always have it right back. Because, like I said, both realities are always there. It's not even like two realities. It's that there are innumerable parallel realities, but those two versions of realities where you have your SP and where you don't have your SP, they're right next to each other. So no fucking up. There is no fucking up. The other thing I wanted to say is it doesn't happen in chronological order. So let's just say you fell off the proverbial wagon and you reacted to the 3D and you had a little flip out, right? And now you're like, holy shit bananas, how do I get back there? Okay, you know what I say? Just use everything in your favor. And use that as okay, first of all, this too shall serve me somehow. Number one, the way it serves me is that I'm clearing my emotions and I'm becoming a better version of myself. I'm more purified. I'm a greater manifester. And since nothing is chronological in the universe, and my SP, also has innumerable parallel versions of him or her, I can reposition realities in the way that I want. Now, you can call it revision. I use it a little bit differently. So imagine like you've shot a film, right? And you're in the editing room. And so now you decide which scene goes after which one. So first of all, when you shoot a movie, you don't shoot it in a chronological order often. And so that's what it is. You start deciding which which scene goes after which one. And so with parallel realities, it's exactly the same thing. So if you flipped out, first of all, you can revise that. Certainly you can. But you can also give it a different meaning where it will fit in your new reality in the most beneficial way to you, okay? For example, even if you flipped out or you had an argument with your SP or you flipped out, period, you can give it a different meaning and say, the new version of the SP is going to be so understanding towards me that even that flip out will somehow, some way serve me to my benefit, okay? That I did not just catastrophically end things or done something wrong. This is actually to my benefit because they will pay more attention to what I need, to my needs, and how I need to feel to be happy in this relationship. Do you understand what I'm saying right now? You can write any story you want. So if you're writing a story that your SP will judge you for some flip out, or that you're judging yourself for the flip out, and it's not okay to momentarily lose your cool or have a little bit of like irritation or anger or this and that, well, you know what? The whole world, i.e., your universe, will judge you and blame you. If you say, no, it's okay to be human, and in fact, this is what's necessary for my process, and this will serve me 100%, and this is not to my detriment, it's to my benefit, then that's how the story turns around. I hope this makes sense to everybody. Also, how you think of them when you think of them, and the kind of mental dialogue you're having with them, right? So if you're thinking of them as the person who is still someone who upsets you, or has done something to hurt you, or, you know, all the jazz that went on, then even if you are in separation with them, they're still that person. Now, if you start thinking of them as the most loyal, faithful, changed, purified partner that has ever existed for you, that because of the drama that you went through, they have realized certain things and they've changed their mind and came to their own conclusions, then that's the version that you will create. Even though you don't see them, you assume that that's the version that they are now because that's how you think of them. And so if you're having this mental dialogue with them of, you know, let's just say you're upset and you say, da 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 da, you did this, that, and the other, I hate you, and, you know, basically fuck you, then, well, it's not going to serve you because for two reasons. They might not hate you back, but they will get the message through the airwaves of the universe that, you know, they're not ready to receive me yet. So therefore, I'm not going to appear. But if you having dialogues like, even a dialogue like, you know, you really hurt me, and, you know, this is how you made me feel, and not coming with hate, but coming with like, hey, can you understand what you did? That's a different dialogue to have, a much softer one, and they will receive that message and understand that in their own, you know, mind, they will receive the message such as, I really fucked up, I better go apologize. I hope this really makes sense to everybody. So the idea, basically, what I'm trying to explain here is you need to reposition the story in the way that it's an ultimate reality. Even if all the shit show happened and you've experienced some unpleasant situations, you need to redo it in such a way where not only does it serve you, but even if you've done something not so great or they've done something not so great, somehow it all turns around in your favor, okay? So I have a couple of examples. So this is a funny story. When I was 16 years old, I was still back in Russia. I had just started modeling at 15, and it was my first boyfriend, who was bananas over me. He was just obsessed with me. You want to know obsessed? It was like ridiculous. And yeah, crazy about me. And so I was modeling and I was getting invited to these like rock star parties and this and that. You know, like boy bands and just rock stars and all these kind of jazz. And you know, he was a little bit kind of like jealous. He was possessive a little bit over me. But like in a very protective way. And he asked me not to go to this party because he knew these people who were singers there. And basically told me, you know, don't go there because whatever. They might treat you like a groupie and maybe there are drugs there and like trying to scare me. But I mean, I had a big head at the time, you know, meaning like, you know, I'm modeling, I'm a model, I can do whatever the fuck I want, like, you're not the boss of me, I'm going to go have fun. And to be honest, like, it was really fun to go to these parties and experience this kind of situation. And so he was like, don't go. And so apparently he went to the party, and when he saw me there, he got really upset. So we had an argument and we ended up breaking up. But I was like, well, screw you. Like, I don't care. I'm going to go date this rock star now if I wanted to. He got really upset and we broke up. Okay. And so, needless to say, a week or 10 days into it, I was like, I regretted it, right? And so I spent the summer kind of like working and being kind of by myself and reading and and I started missing him. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to manifest him back, right? This is the original manifest back story. This is going to be a long audio, but you guys don't mind. I know that. And so basically, I spoke about the spell book of my grandmother and I whipped that shit out as quickly as possible. And I was like, it's, keep in mind, a spell book the one I had is more like a prayer. Okay, but configured in a spell form. Okay, and so I was doing spells, I was doing like meditation in my own way, kind of like thinking, writing poetry, la la la. And so basically, the story ends that, I also went to like fucking, fortune tellers and I asked them to do some fucking spells and doing all this moronic shit basically. And then, I would call him and hang up the phone and, the dumbest shit that a lot of people do. All right. So basically, I ended up going to the Black Sea that summer for like a little vacation and a little photo shoot. And I went to the church and they had the fountain there and it was like, holy water. And I just said, please, angels, God, somebody, like, I really want him back. I miss him so much. And, if I scoop up this water and make a wish, like, please bring him back. Okay. The way he came back was absolutely amazing. I was at the city on the shore of Black Sea, like I said. And I was sitting on the beach, feeling kind of like a little bit sad. And right behind me, suddenly, somebody came behind me and closed my eyes with his hands. And he said, did you know that all you had to do was just call me and talk to me one time and I would have forgiven you and I would have been back? And that's how we got back. And it was manifestation. There's no question about it. He somehow went and found me there. He went asked my friends and this and that where she is. But I was sitting there after drinking this holy water. And my manifestation was like, I knew that somehow, some way this was happening, but I just didn't know how. But it was just ask once. You don't have to do so many fucking trickeries, you know what I mean? That's what it was. So we got back together. Needless to say, we had a lovely time there. And, we stayed together for like a year. And then I broke his heart because I moved to United States. Anyway, another story really quick will be I was at war with this business partner of mine. We were at war in court for years, for like 4 years, and it was back and forth. It was so tiring. And I got this inspiration whilst talking to my lawyers that, you know what, I'm just going to go and approach him myself, right? And I had this inspiration of like, after 4 years of warring, I just wrote him an email and I said, you know what, these are the conditions and this is what I'd like, I'll do for you and you can do this for me and pa. And it was like my energy changed and I really wanted to solve it. I wasn't angry anymore. I was done being angry. I was done being kind of like confrontational. And my lawyers make a lot of things more complicated. But basically, I went behind their back and I emailed him. And you know what? They screamed their heads off on me, but it got solved in one day. And basically, now he's my best friend. So these are just to illustrate that, sometimes we try so hard, but really we're working against ourselves because we've yet something to reconcile within ourselves, that it maybe it doesn't have to, can be that easy, or I don't deserve it, or I'm still struggling against, like I said, anger, resentment, this and that, but it literally can be this easy. So ask once and then expect it. But don't put, barricades in your way. Just be pure and completely open to your manifestation. And never again be afraid or doubt your power. Your power is enormous. When you ask, it's just like everything goes, the machinery in the universe is amazing. Like, for instance, one last example, and I'll close. I asked for white feathers because those are my favorite kind of signs that I get when I have some questions for my guides. And I saw like a tremendous amount of white feathers in the last month. And then I was like, well, oh my God, how many white feathers are there going to be? And then now they stopped. They're like, okay, you don't want any more white feathers? You're not going to see them. If I now ask, no, bring back the white feathers, then all of a sudden I'll see a white feather every fucking step of the way. So it's all up to you. Ask with authority and stay in that ultimate reality. And you're going to manifest, even if you've been waiting for years and months or whatever it is in your case, you're going to get a manifestation. But as usual, I recommend coaching so that you can understand what you're even working with, the kind of belief system, any kind of unprocessed emotions, etc. All the information from me is below. Until next time, ciao, ciao.